So I'm actually up in the suburbs of Boston, like 30 minutes north of the city. I'm actually at my parents' house, the house I grew up in, helping them do a bathroom renovation. Don't ask, but it's been an interesting experience helping my parents with a renovation. But anyway, bathroom's coming along, just packing up some doors here. But I figured it might be a good opportunity, because I'm in the middle of the renovation, to talk about bathrooms and talk about how much bathrooms actually cost and what to expect when you're renovating a bathroom, and what you should be thinking about when you're planning to renovate a bathroom. So figured I'd jump in and let's get going. But in the meantime, before I get started, if you're enjoying the content, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell thingy majiggy down below, and hopefully you can enjoy some of this content and it helps you out. So let's go inside. It's kind of raining out, so jump into it. So originally, I wanted to break down each phase of a bathroom renovation and assign what it would cost for each phase. But the more I started getting down into the weeds and started thinking about it, it's a lot harder than I thought. Every phase or every type of material, it has such a range of pricing. You can get 50 cents a square foot tile at Home Depot. You can get $75 a square foot marble from Italy. It's just, you can get a $100 toilet, for your bathroom, or you can get, a $2,000 toilet with a heated seat and a bidet, and you can voice activated and all this stuff. So it's hard to assign actual costs because every bathroom is different. Every person is going to be putting something different in their bathroom. And so rather than talk about specific pricing, at the end of the episode, I'll kind of give a range of what to expect. But what I'd like to do is walk through each phase of a bathroom renovation and give some feedback or tips and tricks on what to expect and what to plan for when you are renovating a bathroom. So obviously, I'm in my parents' bathroom. We gutted it to the studs. And so that's kind of the first thing that will significantly change the cost when you're renovating. Are you gutting the bathroom to the studs, or are you just doing a cosmetic renovation? What I mean by cosmetic renovation is, are you just replacing the toilet, replacing the vanity, maybe replacing the tile or some of the bath fixtures or the hardware, like your towel bar, your toilet paper holder and things like that, or you're just replacing the vanity, or are you actually gutting this thing to the studs, doing all new electrical, all new plumbing, all new potentially HVAC? Are you changing layouts? That's another huge thing that will increase costs. So are you grabbing space from somewhere? Are you making structural changes in the bathroom? Are you replacing windows? So all of those things can play into the cost. And obviously, the more you do, the higher the cost. So, that's just something to think about right off the bat is, the type of renovation you want to do. And once you decide on the type of renovation, then you can start breaking down the different phases of the renovation. So what I'd like to do next is just kind of walk through this kind of the life cycle of a bathroom renovation, what each phase entails, some of the different things that you need to think about at each phase, and then maybe show some of the materials or show some of the stuff that we used here so you maybe can get an idea or some inspiration for your bathroom renovation. All right, so the first thing you want to think about obviously is the framing. Once you get the bathroom gutted to the studs, is there any additional framing you need to do, or what type of framing do you need to do? Obviously, if you're changing layouts, you're going to bring in your framer to make some framing changes. Specifically in this bathroom, we opted for a curbless shower. So what that means is, in a traditional shower, you actually have a, couple inch curb along the threshold of the shower here. But in this shower, my parents wanted something that is just seamless. So the floor goes seamlessly into the shower. We have a linear drain at the back of the shower. So we actually had to rework some of the framing here. We had to drop the floor a little bit, frame some additional blocking where the joists were. So that was some additional framing that needed to occur in this bathroom. Other than that, we framed out for a new medicine cabinet that my parents wanted. That's something to be aware of. If you're doing a flush mount or recessed medicine cabinet, flush would mean that the medicine cabinet would kind of stick out based on how thick it is. But recessed means that you're framing it out and it actually gets recessed into the wall, which is a nice, cool, built-in look. Other things that you want to be aware of as part of framing that sometimes don't typically get done that you want to make sure you do is blocking. Blocking is very important regardless of the type of renovation. So what I mean by blocking is, we're going to be putting the vanity here, and behind the wall, we, instead of just having vertical 2x4s here, we blocked between them. So we actually took a piece of wood, put it on its flat, and blocked behind here. So when you're screwing in the vanity, instead of having to find where the studs are to screw the vanity in, you have this entire area available to screw your vanity into. So it's a lot more stable, it's a lot more secure, it's easier for the finish guys to come in and just hang the vanity, whether it's a floor mounted or a wall, floating or a floor mounted vanity. So once you're all framed, you're ready to move into mechanical, electrical, plumbing. Plumbing and electrical are going to be the two major components of a bathroom renovation. The mechanical side of things, if you're moving venting or if you have existing HVAC in place that you're reusing, you usually won't be doing much there. In this case, we actually had an old hot water baseboard heater right along here that was no longer used, so we were able to rip that out because my parents upgraded to forced air, but they never took out the baseboard because they didn't really want to deal with it. So that's something we did here, but other than that, you're typically not doing much on the HVAC side other than kind of putting back what you already have in place. Electrical and plumbing are the two bigger things that you want to worry about. Lighting is very important, and having things on separate switches is very important. We usually try to have a minimum of 3 switches in a bathroom. One switch will control your fan, one switch will control general lighting in the bathroom, and one switch will control lighting in a shower or a tub or a wet room, whatever it may be. So those are the types of things that you also want to think about when you're planning your electrical, where lighting's going to be, how you're going to light the bathroom. Lighting was important for my mom for doing like makeup and stuff like that. So we actually have the medicine cabinet we chose gets wired in, and there's lighting within the medicine cabinet. So instead of opting for a typical, vanity light, which will, typically goes above your medicine cabinet or above your mirror, we opted to have lighting in the medicine cabinet itself, and then having some recessed lights in the ceiling, both in the shower and overhead. On the plumbing side is even more important. So when it comes to plumbing, there's a lot of decisions you need to make. You need to make decisions on what type of drain you're going to be using, what type of valve system you're going to be using, whether you're going to have just a straight shower head, whether you're going to have a shower head and a handheld, whether you're going to have jets coming in at you, whether you're going to have a steam shower, whether you're going to have a rain head or a standard head. There's so many different aspects of planning a bathroom when it comes to plumbing. I'm not gonna go through them all, but there's so much variation. But in this bathroom, as I said, we opted to have a linear drain in the back of the shower versus your traditional, center drain, I guess, in the middle. So this is actually sloped. So the floor here, where this grout line is, it starts to slope down. I think it's 1/8 of an inch per foot is code. And it goes all the way down to this linear drain. It's a really cool seamless look. We opted for the linear drain that has a tile insert, so you can use the same tile you're using on the floor in the linear drain versus, you can also get different color grates, whether you want to get stainless steel, chrome, matte black, etc. You can choose that for your linear drain. But this is a cool seamless look. It's very modern. It's very slick. We really like it. We've been doing it a lot lately in some of our higher end condo projects. The other thing what we did here was we're using a Hansgrohe valve with a Hansgrohe trim kit and a handheld. So this will have a trim kit with a diverter on it. And what that means is we have a rain shower head up here, and we also have a handheld bar here. So the diverter, the built-in diverter, will allow you to choose which component you want to use in your shower. So you have the option to be using your rain head, you have the option to be using your handheld shower, or you can actually set it or have your plumber set it so you can use both at the same time. So there's really 3 settings you can use. Important tip, and we can go downstairs and I can actually show you the trim that goes over this and the handheld shower. But a lot of people don't realize that when you choose your valve, you have to choose a trim kit, the same brand trim kit that matches the valve. So for instance, if you're doing a Simmons valve, you have to use a Simmons trim kit. If you're using a Hansgrohe valve, you have to use a Hansgrohe trim kit. So just be aware that whatever valve you choose, you're stuck with using that specific trim for that specific brand. So let's go downstairs, I'll show you the trim, I'll show you some of the components that make up the bathroom, and then we can talk about closing in the walls, and my favorite part is the finishes. So I wanted to talk about the trims that we're using, and like I said, Hansgrohe valve, Hansgrohe trim. So this trim will go over that circular green valve that I showed you upstairs. And so you'll have a dial here to adjust your temperature, and you'll have the options, 1 button for that rain head and 1 button for that handheld. So that's what I meant by trim. And by handheld, what I mean is you'll have a bar on the wall like this that's adjustable. This is adjustable up and down. And then you'll have a wand with a shower head that you can take off and like use it on your body wherever you want if you don't want to use the rain head. So, you know, different options. There's so many different options you can use. Like I said, there's body jets that you can integrate. There's electronic controls that go on the outside of the shower. So things can range in price dramatically depending on what you want to do in your shower and what shower system you want to use. Other things, while we're down here, other things I can kind of go over is, you know, we have our wall-mounted vanity here. My mom wanted to do a wall-mounted vanity versus one that sat on the ground because she really likes how the bottom is open. You can easily clean underneath it. It comes with a really nice porcelain top. Toto toilet, again, huge range in pricing for toilets. You can, like I said, you can get a $100 Glacier Bay toilet at Home Depot, or you can get a $3,000 crazy, you know, Japanese bidet system that has heated seats, Alexa controlled, like a whole control panel on your wall to control your toilet. It's craziness. And then over here, just to show you, is the medicine cabinet that we're going to be installing. It's going to be a recessed medicine cabinet, so it'll go inside the wall. What's really cool is this, you know, I can show you here, there's lighting strips, LED lighting strips on either side. You can control it by a push button on the mirror itself. But then what's cool is on inside of the mirror, there's actually an outlet where you can plug in like your toothbrush charger or whatever you want to do, so you don't have to have anything exposed on the sink or anything like that. Everything can be hidden inside. And that was very important to my mom. She really wants everything to be hidden. She doesn't want anything out in the bathroom, which I agree with. You know, I hate clutter. So having things hidden behind things indoors is my jam. So yeah, so we can go back upstairs. Once you finish doing all of your rough MEP, you then insulate, obviously. Any exterior walls that you take out, you need to make sure that you insulate. And then once you insulate, you're going to be putting the walls up. So you're going to be either boarding or plastering or drywalling and mudding and taping. So at that point, you're ready to move into the finish stage, and we can go upstairs and start talking about that stuff. You know, this is me, 1993, letter to my grandfather. So back in the old stomping ground. Let's go upstairs. So we are back in the bathroom. Let's talk about tile. Well, before we talk about tile, let's talk about waterproofing. Waterproofing is probably the most important thing that you can do or think about when you're renovating a bathroom. So waterproofing can range. It depends on the type of tile you're using. It depends on the type of shower system you're using. There's so many different types of waterproofing methods out now. It's not just going and buying Durock and mudding the joints and doing a pan and doing a mud job on the floor. There's so many different aspects. So in this bathroom, we used a product called Go Board. It's actually a very lightweight waterproofing board system. And then what they did was they taped and mudded the joints, and then they applied this waterproofing sealant or paint to the joints. On the floor, they used, I believe here we used a Latacrete flooring waterproofing system. If there's a membrane, a matte membrane that goes on the floor, but because we're doing a curbless shower, usually when there's a curb here, you can keep all your waterproofing in the shower. But because it's curbless, we wanted to make sure that the rest of the shower floor was waterproof, just in case water started to kind of creep out here. If it ended up having to, if there was some type of backup on the drain, or if there was residual water from a shower that came out, we wanted to make sure that the whole floor was protected. So we actually waterproofed the entire floor with that Latacrete system. But there's so many different brands. There's Weedy, there's Schluter. There's so many different ways that you can waterproof a bathroom these days. So I don't want to go into the details, but make sure that whoever's doing the waterproofing thinks about all the aspects, because if you have an issue, trying to track down where that leak is coming from can be very, very, very time consuming, and you really don't want to start ripping tile out after you put it in. So waterproofing is a super important aspect of any bathroom renovation. Once you do your waterproofing, you can then move on and start tiling. So in this particular bathroom, we used a tile from a company called Porcelanosa. They are based in Spain, but they sell over here. It's a really, really cool tile. They have so many different options, and we love using Porcelanosa. We've used them on a lot of different projects. They have a lot of different options and sizes and colors. But here, my mom wanted as little grout lines as possible. So we used like 47 by 47 tiles. So we used, and you can see, planning out your tile layout is important. Making sure that you know ahead of time where you're going to be placing tiles based on the size is important. You want to know where your grout lines are going to be. You want to know where your cuts are going to be. It's all based on size. So for instance, here we opted to do one big 47 by 47 tile when you first walk in, because we have a grout line here, but the toilet's going to be here. So the toilet is going to cover a lot of this grout line. It's hard to see. And then similarly, the grout line follows here. The vanity is going to stick out here. So you're not going to really see this grout line when you walk into the bathroom. So we wanted to make sure that we had a full piece in the bathroom when you walked in, because that was going to give you the best look. Similar over here where the shower is, this grout line is going to be hidden because this is where our glass shower door is going to be. So you're really only going to see this one grout line here with this cut. So we really planned this out, and as you can see, we played around with different layouts and wrote them on the wall because it's very important. Similar to our niche, and I didn't really talk about this when you were in the framing section, but niches have become very popular. Instead of having to do a corner shelf or putting all your shampoo and crap on the floor, or kind of into the space, you recess it into the wall. And building this in, you can buy pre-built niches, or you can custom build it and custom frame it. We here wanted to custom frame it because we wanted to do a full length niche, which was from wall to wall, which is it's a really cool look instead of having kind of a small box in the middle. And then we mitered the edges. This is actually one whole piece that we sent to our fabricator. So this came in, I think, 4 feet by 8 feet was the size of this tile. So we sent the tile to our countertop fabricator, who actually laser measured this and then fabricated and cut it to size. Another thing you want to be aware of when you are doing a niche, making sure that the tile lines up with the height of the niche. For example, what we usually do is if we're buying 12 by 24 tile, or we're putting 12 by 24 tile on the wall, we make sure that we know that the top of one full tile ends at the bottom of our niche. So then we can place the niche at the exact location so you don't have like a small cut before the niche or on either side. The small cut, if there is a small cut, it ends up being towards the top. So when you come in, you want to see all full tiles all the way up. So we make sure that we custom build our niches around the tile size. And that's important, when you're planning a bathroom renovation. I could go on and on and on about tile for hours and hours. Tile can range in size, in shape, in pricing. It just depends on the style you're looking for. You can do traditional subway tile. You can do large format tile. There's so many choices these days and types of tile. And, you can get tile that kind of like looks 3D in some ways when you're looking at it. So, it can become overwhelming. So make sure that you start looking early and plan ahead, which is super, super important because you want to make sure that you have chosen most of your materials ahead of time so then you can plan your framing and all of your MEP around the type of material that you're going to be putting in your bathroom. All right, so now that we're done with the tile topic, it's time to move on to all of your finished carpentry, which is pretty straightforward. So you're going to come in, you're going to trim out all of your windows, you're going to trim out all your doors. That's another thing that you're going to have to buy is your type of trim profile or baseboard profile. Once all that's trimmed out, your painter usually comes in to prime everything, sprays the ceilings, sprays the trim, sprays the doors, making things look pretty. He might put one coat of paint on the walls. Then once all that's done, your finished guys will come back. They'll usually install the vanity, they'll install the medicine cabinet, they'll install all of your bath hardware, your toilet paper holder, your towel racks, hooks, etc. Once all that is done, then you move into finish electrical, finish plumbing, finish HVAC if you have it. Plumber will come in, do all of your finished trims, put in your shower heads. Electricians will come in and do all the lighting. They'll hook up the bath fans. They'll put all of your outlet covers on, making sure everything's working appropriately. And then once you're done with that, if you are doing a countertop on your sink that has to be fabricated, that's going to be fabricated at this time by your countertop manufacturer or fabricator. Or if it came with a pre-made top, your plumber will probably put that on when they do all of the fixtures and things like that. And then you bring your painter back for one last touch up, and you are finally finished with your bathroom renovation. So it's not as simple. A bathroom renovation is not as simple as people think it's made out to be. If you're doing a cosmetic renovation and you're just replacing a toilet or just replacing a vanity, it is pretty simple. But if you're gutting a bathroom, there is a lot that goes into it. So the biggest question that a lot of people ask is how long will a bathroom renovation take? And again, it comes down to the scope. It comes down to how much you're doing. But it comes down to how long a municipality may take to issue permits, to come and inspect things. All those things come into play when doing a bathroom renovation in terms of planning for a timeline. But typically, on average, I would say if you're doing a simple renovation, give yourself 4 weeks or a month. If you're doing a more in-depth renovation, I would say give yourself 2 months, maybe 3 months, depending on the scope of the work, how big the bathroom is, the type of material that you're ordering. In this environment with the pandemic and supply chain issues, things have taken a lot longer to come in. Some of this tile here took 8 weeks to come in. So making sure you're planning ahead and you're ordering way ahead of time is also very important because you don't want to have to be sitting and waiting with a half-done bathroom for material to arrive. You want to make sure that you're ordering stuff way in advance. And that's something that you want to really talk to your general contractor about if they're purchasing the materials or if you're purchasing the materials, making sure to understand what lead times are on all of the material that you're buying. So obviously, there's a lot that goes into a bathroom renovation. And at the beginning, I said that I would give you an estimated price range when we started. So I would say that if you're doing a cosmetic renovation, just replacing toilets, vanities, you probably can get away with doing something for like $2,500. If you're doing a low-end gut renovation, I would say we've probably done lower-end rental grade gut renovations for probably around like $5-6 grand, but it just starts going up from there. So if you're going to be doing a really large bathroom with a floating freestanding tub and a wet room and body jets and steam showers and marble everywhere, you can spend 50+ grand on a bathroom. So the ranges of how much something may cost vary greatly, but I would say at the end of the day, making sure that your planning is very important. Start at the beginning of the process rather than jumping into things and just start ordering things. Choosing materials and choosing designs can get overwhelming. So if you are stuck, something that I might suggest is hiring an interior designer to help you with the design and the layouts and choosing all of the finishes. They've done it. That's what they do for a living. You may be paying them a little bit, but the time that they'll save you and the headaches that they'll save you, because they know when to order things, how much of things to order, where to get certain product, how long lead times are going to be for a specific product. They're in it day to day, so hiring an interior designer might be a good way to help you move forward in your bathroom renovation. Also talk to a really good general contractor. If you're subbing it out yourself, get multiple bids. Pricing can, again, range greatly. My mom got a quote here for like $30,000 for that tiny bathroom, and that didn't even include her buying material, and I'm getting it done for her for about half the price, and that's kind of obviously why I stepped in, because I really didn't want her to pay that absurd price. But again, prices range significantly, so make sure you get multiple bids from general contractors. Make sure that you're ordering material way in advance, making sure that you understand lead times, and just making sure that you understand costs and pricing. Things can get overwhelming, but at the end of the day, it's your bathroom, it's your house, you're gonna be using it every day. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. I gotta finish loading these doors, get out of here. I don't wanna really be here when my mom gets home, so I'll catch you on the next video.